Hey, and this is day 6 of my World 88 English server, and I'm losing my building minister today in about 10 minutes because he was just a free trial to get me addicted or hooked on him. So that means that for the next 10 minutes, I need to figure out what I'm gonna queue up for my building queue because it's okay if I don't have the resources. I can still set him to upgrade as the resources become available, and that will apply even after he's expired, but as long as they're queued up ahead of time. So I'm just gonna start upgrading some more resource buildings because I want to utilize him for as long as possible. And it's all about getting the most out of what you have. I've already got my level 10 intrinsic temple set to upgrade once I get enough resources here. It's over 7 hours, over 7.5 hours to upgrade, so hopefully that'll happen overnight when I go to bed. That way I don't have to worry about doing nothing when I'm awake. That's one of the nice things about planning ahead a little and having the building minister, is it allows you to plan for things like that. So I've got 2 more spots. Just gonna upgrade some cottages more. And that fills up the 16 build spots. So I'm maxed out until these are built, or I cancel them. Once I lose my building minister, I can't queue up more buildings because that's exceeding the standard 6. So in order to queue up more, I have to wait until these build or I cancel them. I'm not losing resources for most of them because I just assigned them. I haven't paid for them yet. And today is the day that something exciting is going to happen because I have finally accumulated all of the resources in order to research the first title advancement, which will unlock, after research, 1 Baron for my command. So I'm going to research it, and now I've been given the Earl title, and that just gives me access to different items. I've also increased my mana gain and the max mana I can hold. And that is going to be useful because now in the Fortune Teller, all of these items are going to be for the Earl. So in 15 hours, when I can do this next, I will, instead of getting a card for Baron title, I now get one for an Earl title. So instead of 10,000 resources, these are 20,000. Which is nice. It allows me to get a little bit more bang per buck with most of the items. One thing, however, is that I can no longer raid level 1 dungeons if there are any nearby, which it doesn't look like there are. I can't raid any level 1 dungeons because I'm too high of a title now to receive an item. Level 2 bosses are for the title Baron, so since it's one underneath me, one title before the title I'm at currently, I can still receive an item if I successfully defeat this boss. However, this one is a level 4 boss. I'm not at that title yet, but I can raid any boss level higher than the level 3 that I'm currently at and receive an item. Level 9, I would still receive 2 items for the Emperor. I can't use them yet because I'm not at that title, but I could at least get them if I was able to successfully raid them. So what this means is that I will hopefully be building city number 2 tomorrow. I have to wait, of course, until my intrinsic temple gets to level 10, but I meet the requirement for the research now. So tomorrow that'll be saving up. I've already got the iron for him. It'll be saving up more food. I need 25,000 to build a new city. I need 100,000 wood and stone each, which I will be able to bolster what I have now. I've got some items that I can't use at the moment because all my buildings are taken up, but I will use those tomorrow in order to get to that 100,000. And I still have to upgrade my marketplaces because right now, if we look, I only have 110 carts and I need 250. So that's going to take 2 level 8 marketplaces and a level 7. Doesn't matter which one was which, but that way I don't have to wait for the time and spend resources to upgrade one all the way to level 10, which is 200 carts at a level 10 marketplace. So I need to start looking for where I want to build my next city. I'm next to iron right now, and I'm diagonal from these hills here, so I've got more iron than I need, and I've got a little extra stone, but I'm really lacking wood. So for City 2, ideally, this would be a good spot, because it gives me 12 extra nodes of wood, 12 extra nodes of stone. This will help me build quickly. I'll have all the resources for those buildings, the resource buildings. However, I'm on continent 22, which was the first one to open, which is generally one of the most contested continents because the top alliances want to have a home base. So if we look at alliances, I'm on a boat is number 1. We can look at it by continent. On continent 22, they're still number 1. They have 100 members here, which gives them a huge advantage. I'm in Alpha Dogs right now, and we have 47 members. We know we don't have a shot at continent 22, which is fine. It's one of the fuller continents right now. Continent 32 finally opened up after days and days of waiting. So right now I need to be able to build either my third city on a different continent or wait until I do a fake castle, which I will talk about later as that becomes more relevant. But right now, water access is key. So instead of going here, ideally, I need to probably build here. It'll give me access to some more wood, of course stone and iron still not a lot of food. That'll be something that I need to primarily supply from my first city for my title advancements. But this will give me access to build harbors at level 10, which will allow me to settle overseas as long as it's touching water anywhere on the world, any continent, rivers, via ocean. However, I can't settle here because no one else. The game hasn't spawned players here yet, and it would be unfair if we all picked up and we moved to an uninhabited continent. When the players finally spawn there, we could have hundreds of cities built and would crush them, and they would have no chance whatsoever. So you can only move to continents that have already opened. Like continent 33, it just opened, there aren't tons of people here. This would be somewhere that I could move and start here. Because when you can have a whole alliance just concentrate on one continent, you want a safe continent, which means that you are undoubtedly in control and there are no enemy castles or maybe one or two on that continent. And this gives you a safe base to have castles that are primarily for raiding, because they can bring in millions of resources a day instead of what a resource city can bring in. And that's some place that you're going to be building your palaces too. Now, palaces are built around these shrines. They activate, I think, 30 to 40 days after the server opens. The first shrine on Continent 22 will open, and every couple of days after that, the shrine on 32 will open, because that was the next continent. Then on 23, a shrine will open, and so forth as the continents came online. And about every month or so, a new shrine will open on the second continent, or on the same continent. So after the first one opens on continent 22, wait about a month, the second one will open, wait about a month, the third one will open, and they're random. You don't know which one's going to open first or next. So that's something to think about when you're building your empire. You want to be located around a shrine, and generally you want to take up landlocked areas that aren't touching water first, because you don't want a high level palace on water, because then anyone with a water castle could attack it, and it just leaves you really vulnerable to lose. And another thing now, with moon gates being active, you don't want to build castles super close to a moon gate unless they are for attacking if that moon gate becomes active. You don't want palaces by moon gates, because once again, moon gates open worldwide. All players on any continent can send units through a moon gate, and you don't want the wrath of an entire alliance or alliances coming down on one palace that's sitting next to your moon gate. So it's good to place either resource cities or defensive cities around moon gates. You want to build palaces, preferably by the shrines not next to a moon gate, but if you do, build it on the opposite side, about as far away as you can. Shrines enlighten a radius of 20 tiles, so 20 of these squares away. Or, it's still a grid, if you look here, you just don't have the lines. 20 tiles away is the radius for the shrine. So these are all things just to think about ahead of time for the future. Put them in the back of your brain until you need them. But this will probably be where I build city number 2. It's close. It's about 22 minutes away from my first city, which means that I will be able to transport resources there within a half hour. And that'll be useful because I can bolster, once again, with my carts, the resources at city number 2. So it's unlike city number 1, it's not being built all by itself. I can pour more wood and stone into it from city number 1 in order to help it build faster, because I want to get those resource buildings up quickly. That way I can have a resource income in 2 cities and not just have to survive off of one income. And that's probably it for today. More will come tomorrow, hopefully, unless I run out of things to talk about. Then it'll just be a boring 10 to 15 minutes with no sound. But you could play some nice music in the background, or perhaps I will. Who knows? If you have requests, please let me know. I'll try to cover things as I can. I'll try to think of things as they come up, but I'm not perfect. If you want to do better than I am, make your own video, show us how it's done. Show me up, please. That'd be nice. Maybe I'd learn a bit. So, until next time.